Welcome to Ask the Business Doctor. I'm Dr. Sakira Jackson. I'm the CEO Whisperer. And this is where we stop treating business symptoms like random problems and start diagnosing what's really happening underneath. I look at business through what I call the Triple Helix of Wisdom: biblical wisdom, business wisdom, and behavioral wisdom. Because most business issues are not just business. They reveal something about stewardship, about structure, and about human behavior. So today, I want to talk to you about the triple helix. Today, we're talking about why business symptoms need diagnoses. Let's talk through this idea. If a business has customers and they have activity and they got revenue and opportunities, but it still feels heavier than it should, you may not have a motivation problem. You may have a diagnosis problem. And so you probably would say, well, Dr. Sakira, how do I know if I have a diagnosis problem? Here's the things that a lot of business owners will say that will show that you might be diagnosing the problem incorrectly. These are the things that you might say out loud to your friends, to your staff, or you might actually be saying it in your head. I need more leads. My team is not doing what they need to do. I need better marketing. I feel overwhelmed. Why am I working all the time? I really just don't know what to fix first. I'm busy, but money is not matching my efforts. And I always want to slow down because what you're running is not named properly. It may be the symptom, but not the diagnosis. Because if you treat every symptom like the real problem, you will spend your money fixing the wrong thing, and that is expensive in every language. Here's what I want you to think about. You may not have thought about this, but you may have heard it. There's things called business coaching, strategic planning, business consulting, scaling support, business growth, help, operations management and improvement, and leadership development. These are the terms that a lot of people use to describe what they think they're going to do to help you. But because you haven't looked at the triple helix, there may be an issue with the diagnosis. So, what I want you to think about is that while all of those are related, what I'm talking about is a diagnosis, just like when you go to the doctor, a diagnosis where we look at what's actually going on, look at all the symptoms. Before we prescribe, we need to understand what's really happening. This is where a business diagnosis is the process of identifying the real issue underneath the visible business symptom. See, if you diagnose the wrong problem, you prescribe the wrong solution, and that can get expensive. Here's an example. You spend money on marketing when your real issue is sales conversion. You hire more people when your real issue is poor systems. You blame your team when your real issue is unclear leadership. You can keep chasing revenue when your real issue is actually your profit structure. Or you think you need more motivation, but what you really need is a repeatable rhythm in your business. So the business doctor question is not just what hurts. The better question is what is causing the pain. You may recognize this if you've been going through things like you keep fixing the same problem over and over and over again. Or you're busy, but you're not meaningfully progressing. You got sales, but you don't have enough profit. You got leads, but they are not converting. You have a team, but you still make every decision. So you haven't transferred things to your team. You have customers, but your delivery system seems messy. Or you feel like the business is working or it only works when you are personally responsible for everything. Or you do not know whether the problem is marketing, whether it's sales, systems, people, money, or leadership. And if two or three of those hit you right here in the forehead, don't be offended. I want you to get curious because that's where the diagnosis starts. As a business doctor, I do not want to simply ask what hurts. I want to ask better questions. What is causing the pain? What does where does it keep showing up? What is the pattern? What is the cause? What have you already tried? What keeps repeating? What has been avoided? What structure is missing? And maybe even what wisdom has not been applied. That's a diagnosis. And most businesses do not need random advice. Y'all need someone who can help them identify what's really happening underneath the symptoms. This is where you need to just stop and breathe. From a biblical perspective, stewardship is not passive. If something has been placed in your hands, a business, an opportunity, a client, a team, a gift, a platform, you are responsible for examining how it's being handled because you are the CEO, the founder, the owner, the president. And you can't steward what you won't expect, what you won't inspect. Sometimes people want increase, but they don't want to examine. But wisdom says, before I ask for more, I need to look at what is already in my hands. In business, the wrong diagnosis creates wasted effort. If your sales are inconsistent, but the real issue is unclear, your offer language may be the issue. And buying another ad won't fix that. If your team is underperforming, but the real issue is unclear roles, hiring more people won't fix that. If your operations are messy, but every decision still runs through you, another piece of software is not going to fix that. Business wisdom asks, what is the root cause? Behaviorally, the diagnosis can feel uncomfortable because once you see the real issue, you can't unsee it. Sometimes, as the owner, you know the problem, but you're just avoiding it. You'll just avoid naming it. Maybe you may not want to have that hard conversation. Maybe you do not want to look at your numbers. Maybe you do not want to admit to yourself that you are the bottleneck. But clarity is not punishment, people. Clarity is protection. Here is the business symptom checklist. I want you to name the visible symptom. We need more leads. The team is not accountable. I feel overwhelmed. Revenue is inconsistent. Customers are not returning. Everything depends on me. If any of those resonate with you, let's ask another question. How does this show up in your business? Does it show up in your sales? Does it show up in your delivery? Does it show up in your operations, your finance, your communication, your leadership, or your customer experience? And then you want to look at the cost. What is the symptom costing you? Is it time, money, peace, opportunities, client trust, and more, employee morale, growth capacity? You need to diagnose which one it is because you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. Is it a strategy issue? Is it structure? Is it systems? Is it leadership? Is it communication? Is it finance or wisdom transfer or purpose alignment? You gotta diagnose it correctly before you can correct it. And so what I want you to think about is right now, when you have diagnosis, you just want to take one corrective action. Don't try to fix everything in one day. Pick one corrective action that addresses the real issue and address that. For example, if lead generation is your issue, you might say, I need more leads. But when we look at it closer, you got a lot of people inquiring, you got a lot of DMs, you got a lot of referrals, you even have a lot of conversations. So, how do we diagnose what is actually the issue if it isn't that you're not getting the contact from the clients? The issue is not lead generation, the issue is follow up. There's probably no clear sales conversation follow-up process, no follow-up system, no follow-up nurture system, no clear offer, and no clear next step. So when you spend the money on your leads and you're pouring all that money in and then the opportunities are coming in, it's coming into a broken container because the container you're using is not able to hold the customers until you can completely follow up with them. In that case, the prescription is not to post more so you're getting more leads. The prescription is to build a follow-up system. And that's a ask the business doctor diagnosis. So, question for you. What symptoms keep showing up in your business that you may have been misdiagnosed? Don't answer that too fast. The first answer may be the symptom. The second or the third answer may be closer to your diagnosis. If this helps you in your business and see your business differently, comment or message me the word diagnosis. And lasted, meaning it's been in business more than 2 to 3 years. You got some customers, you have activity, but it still feels heavier than it should. This may be the season to stop guessing and start diagnosing what needs to change. I'm Dr. Sakira Jackson, the CEO Whisperer, and this has been Ask the Business Doctor. Why do I look like I'm in pain?